Welcome back to the Late Night Gamer. Before we start, there's a couple of things I would like to talk about before we start. So, as per normal, when I play, I need to make a correction. It's not a big one, but it's an important one. So, let's zoom down on the map and have a look. What I want to talk about are these things here, which are obviously bridges, but I've been treating them as fords. And the reason is that when you look in the terrain effect chart from the game, well, you can see the bridges are like this, but the fords, they have this white dash across them. I failed to notice that the bridges have black borders and the fords have blue borders. Just focusing on the white thing, or the white dash. So, mistaking the road for a white dash, I thought these are fords. Well, they are bridges, so we'll treat them as bridges from here on. So one more thing I want to talk about before we start, and that is the turn sequence, the game turn sequence. We can see it here, and it's quite simple. And I did film and talk about the turn sequence, but previously, but for some strange reason I edited that out of the final video. But in any case, the turn sequences is like this. First is the random event phase of the first player. Then the first player moves. There's a reaction phase from the second player where he can react with his cavalry if he's adjacent to a non-cavalry enemy unit. And then after that there's combat. And if it's not a knight turn, then it's the second player turn to draw an event card, to movement, and the first player gets to react, and there's combat again, and we go through this cycle. So basically it's move and combat every turn, except when it's a knight turn. Right, I want to talk about one more thing before we start, and that was something that happened during the last turn. So if I can recreate that accurately, when Napoleon, or the French player, moved his unit into this hex, that would normally result in a combat, but then there's a reaction phase before that where this cavalry unit, being next to a non-cavalry enemy unit, can react. The Prussian player chose to disengage, and now the French player can follow. So if he follows, he maintains contact, then he gets this in contact marker on it. So the effect of that in contact marker is that the combat strength is halved, and that this French unit no longer exerts a zone of control. Now here's what I have been thinking about, and I'm not sure if I have the answer to that. So that in contact marker reduces its combat strength to half. It also have another effect, and that effect is that the French unit no longer has a zone of control. I'm not sure how to interpret that when it comes to combat, because the combat rule says that you have to attack every unit in your zone of control. But since this guy do not have any zone of control, does it mean that it do not have to attack all of these units? If that's the case, then it can pick this cavalry and attack that alone. There's a rule saying that if you are in the enemy zone of control, you need to engage in a battle. So there's no question that the French unit is in the zone of control of more than one unit. It has to attack something. But since it has no zone of control itself, it do not have to attack the units surrounding it, all of the units surrounding it. But then there's another rule saying that if you are in the enemy zone of control of more than one unit, they have to be attacked, all of them. So that really puzzles me. I'm not sure how to interpret that. That rule is not really something I understand. Maybe somebody can clarify.